Last time I talked to you about the second law of motion and the law of inertia called first law of motion. Today I would like to talk to you Newton's third law of motion, which is also known as the law of action-reaction. Before I introduce the formulation of Newton, let me tell you that there are quantities called vector quantities, the quantities that have a direction. When you add them, you have to be careful. For instance, I want to find the momentum of two bodies. A body of 2 kilogram mass moving with 5 meter per second velocity. Obviously, its momentum is 2 into 5, which is 10 units. There is another body of 5 kilogram mass moving with, say, velocity 10 meter per second. Its momentum will be 5 into 10 means 50. So total momentum, they are moving in the same direction. So when you add the momentum of the system, let's suppose your system comprises these two bodies, then the total momentum of the system would be the total momentum of the two bodies, which is equal to 60 kilogram meter per second. Now consider this 2 kilogram body moving in the backward direction, but the 5 kilogram body moving in the forward direction. What will happen? The momentum of the bigger body is 50 units, whereas the momentum of the second body is 10 units in the opposite direction. So it's called negative momentum. So the net momentum of the system would be 50 minus 10, which is 40 units. Be careful about momentum. Now let me talk to you about what Newton did. Newton considered a system. Suppose the system comprises two bodies, A and B. Initially they are at rest. These two bodies are at rest and consequently their momentum is zero. So momentum of the system is zero. Now suppose body A exerts a force on body B. Then body B, suppose it exerts 20 Newton force. Then the body B starts moving. After 1 second, its momentum becomes 20 units. But there is no external force on the system. The force that A has exerted on B is called internal force, mutual force, internal force. So there is nothing from outside. Newton says that it's impossible. Unless a force is exerted from outside on the system of A and B, the net momentum, if it is zero in the beginning, must always remain zero. So if the B body is moving in this direction with momentum 20, then A body must move in the opposite direction with momentum minus 20, so that the sum remains zero. And when it will happen? A body acquires a minus 20 momentum in 1 second when it also experiences a force of 20 Newton. Means if body B experiences a force due to A of 20 Newton, then body A must also experience at the same time a force of minus 20 Newton. Newton was pleasantly surprised when he discovered this fundamental law of nature, that forces are never born single, they are born in pairs. And he called this pair as action-reaction pair. They were acting in opposite direction. You can call this force as action, then this is known as reaction. You can call this force as action, then this is called reaction. So in general, if body A exerts a force on body B of F Newton, at the same instant of time, B will exert a force of minus F on the other body. So that the net force on the system obviously is zero and net momentum always remains zero. So then Newton says that for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. I would like to clarify two things in here. Why this becomes so important for me. In 2002 there was violence in Gujarat. The chief minister of Gujarat at that time mentioned that it's action and reaction. I suggested to my students in my class when I went in the class next day that I think we should understand that action and reactions have three parts. This law has three parts. Number one, action and reaction are equal in magnitude. If body A exerts a force of 20 Newton, then body B also exerts a force of 20 Newton on the other body. Second, obviously the force is in the opposite direction. Second, the forces are created at the same time. Action and reaction, they don't have time delay. Immediately when action takes place at the same instant of time, reaction also takes place. So this is important. Third, action and reactions do not act on the same body. A B body cannot exert a force on itself. So action, if it is on B body due to A, then reaction is on A body due to B. A and B are two different bodies. So action and reactions do not act on the same body. So in case of Gujarat, I had to explain to friends when I went there to cool down passions and anger and hatred. I told people that in the train compartment, 57 people were killed. And in the violence that took place 2 days later, 2,000 people were killed. 57 is not equal to 2,000. Hence, don't apply the law of action reaction. Second, action and reaction, the violence in the train took place on 27th of February. And the violence in the rest of Gujarat took place 2 days later. So there was a time delay, which is not permitted by this law of action reaction. And third, most important thing, that the people who were killed in the train, they were human beings, Indian citizens. And the people who were killed 2 days later, they are also Indian citizens, full human beings. So they are not different entities. They are same people. So this is something very fundamental, that we do not misquote laws of nature to justify our bad actions or our irresponsible actions. I think this will make us more humble and more considerate and kind. Science can help us becoming better human beings if you utilize the principles of science in a scientific way, in an objective manner. So wonderful talking to you about these fundamental laws that set in motion the modern science. Thank you.